We read in the 14th chapter of Ezekiel, "If the prophet be deceived, I have seduced him, and I will stretch forth mine hand, and will smite him. He entreateth of the false prophets, which ever between whiles vainly fed the people." Jeremiah saith in the 4th chapter that God deceived the people. In the 63rd chapter of Isaiah the prophet complaineth, "Wherefore hath God so seduced the people, or made them to err, that they should depart from him?" Solomon saith in his Proverbs, "Even as the violence of waters, so is the king's heart in the hand of God." Undoubtedly Pharaoh was a king, therefore he inclined his will unto what part he would. Nebuchadnezzar was a king, therefore he inclined his will unto which part he would. In the 104th Psalm it is said of the Egyptians that God turned their hearts, so as they hated the children of Israel, they seemed before to love the Israelites. In the second epistle to the Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter, "Because men cast away the love of the truth, therefore God sent them strong illusions, that they might give credit unto lies." It is written in the 11th chapter of Joshua that none made peace with the children of Israel among all the nations of the Canaanites, save only the Gibeonites, for God encouraged their heart to fight against the Israelites. And it is added, unto what end? Namely, that they should be weeded out by them. Assuredly did he animate them, that they should not desire to have peace, but rather to have war. Moreover, he that would an end seemeth to will those things which serve unto the end, and by the same will he would those means which crave an end. The physician, willing to heal a sick man, seeth that cutting, or searing, or else a bitter potion is fit, and even these he will use for recovery of health. When God would that a testimony unto the truth should be given by the martyrs, and that Christ should die, he also would those things that should procure this end, namely, the vexation of the saints, and the cruelty of kings and people. For it behooved to attain unto that end by these means. In the prophets, especially in Isaiah, kings are said to be in the hand of God, like rods, hammers, and axes, which comparisons have no place, if it were not understood that God moveth the hearts, for they be not moved unless they be driven forward. Also when God was displeased with the people of Israel, he stirred up the heart of David to number that people by the poll, which thing was wicked. It is to small purpose, if thou wilt say that in the book of Chronicles is read that Satan provoked him, for Satan can do no more than God giveth him leave. Whether God did it by himself or by Satan, thou seest that David was stirred up by the will of God unto that which was not lawful. They are wont to excuse this matter, that God permitteth, but not helpeth. We say it is not enough, for the offense is still left in our minds. God as yet seemeth after some sort to will sin. He knoweth that a man cannot stand by himself. If some blind man should walk before us, and we should see him ready either to stumble against a stone or to fall into a ditch, and we are present, we may help him, but we will not. We suffer him to go on. Now when he falleth, shall not we after some sort be said to be guilty of his fall? For thou wouldest have him fall, if thou didst not stay him when thou mightest. And that which yet is more grievous, if so be that an old impotent man were leaning upon his staff, and so after a sort were going, and if some man should take away his staff whereunto he leaned, although he enforced him not to fall, should he not after some sort be called the author of the fall? God taketh away his spirit from weak men, who without this be not able to go. Doth he not after some sort seem to be the cause of their fall? Wherefore that which they bring will be a weak defense, when they say that God forsaketh men. While we would seem to excuse God, we lay as grievous things unto him, to wit, that he is no more God, and while we shun the smoke, we fall into the fire. If any things be done besides the will of God, whether he will or no, if there be any effects whereof he is not the cause, he is not then the universal cause of all, nor yet God. But he compelleth not to fall. The excuse will not serve. Admit there be some good man of the house, whose family behaveth itself very ill. If he be reproved, he will excuse himself, saying, I bade them not, I commanded them not. That excuse shall not be counted lawful, for he ought not to permit that which he could have hindered. Many times the good man of the house cannot let wicked acts, but the power of God is invincible. There be no wills so evil and corrupt, but he can amend and make them good. Anselm in his book De Casu Diaboli, the 91st chapter, why, saith he, do we account it absurd that God doth particular actions by a naughty will, seeing we know that he maketh sundry substances, which are brought forth by a dishonest action? As when a child is procreated by adultery, that adultery is evil, no man doubteth, but that child is the creature of God. This seemeth twice to be affirmed in the Acts of the Apostles. In the 2nd chapter, Peter saith of Jesus, the Son of God, that the Jews had taken him and delivered him to be slain by the determinate will and counsel of God. Afterward in the 4th chapter, when the church gave thanks unto God, it prayeth on this wise, Against thy holy Son Jesus, both Herod and Pontius Pilate, with the Gentiles and people of Israel, gathered themselves together to do those things that thy hand and thy counsel had determined to be done. With these arguments, whereunto others might be added, I will hold myself content.